verbalize your concerns, your disappointments, your anger, nobody can read your mind. If you're not verbalizing whatever you're feeling, it means there's a problem with the sense of self-worth. Do we assume other people are nasty, or do we communicate to them that I didn't like this behavior? Very politely, you can do that. Can we try communicating our anger or frustration, or we engage in counterproductive rage, slamming doors, shouting, kicking something, throwing things? It's okay to communicate. It's okay to tell people, I am angry. It's okay to tell in this tone, I'm very angry, I'm very disappointed because this happened, because my needs were not met. And I expected that to happen. And what could be the solution here? How can we work towards it? It's okay to communicate that to your boss, to your family, to your partner, whomever. Do we have the inner resources to teach that to other people rather than insist that they should know and should understand us? The fourth marker of emotional wellness would be trust. How much do we trust others and the world around us? Are we able to give others the benefit of doubt, or do we often assume negative? Oh, that's okay. वो तो है ही ऐसी. वो तो है ही ऐसा. No, that's how he does. Can we rely on others? Ask for help and then accept help? Or do we need to control everything? Do we need to control every situation? Mothers do that a lot. They become controlling over time because they're not trusting other people to do their job. How readily are we able to survive a challenge such as romantic rejection, a bout of financial trouble, or a diagnosis of a chronic illness, or a loss of a loved one even? Will new acquaintances like us, or would they wound us or reject us? You're at work, you're approaching someone, that could be your new acquaintance, your new friend. Would they reject you? Would they accept you? How often you doubt that? How often, instead of being curious, you take a step back because you are worried that they would reject you? How tightly do we need to cling to our loved ones? How anxious we get when they are pulling away. मुझे time क्यों नहीं मिल रहा? Why they are pulling away? They've got busy in their own world. Or do we feel the world is wide, safe, and reasonable enough for us to have a legitimate shot at feeling content? Or do we think that we need to settle resentfully with a lot of bitterness in our hearts? So the thing is that it's not possible for every one of us to answer positively for all the questions that I asked. A lot of you might have said, okay, but there's an answer, but the answer is no for this one. And that's all right. The idea is self-reflection, acknowledgement of that wound, of that psychological wound. Because if you acknowledge and then you accept that there is a psychological wound there, then only we can work towards solution. Then only we can work towards healing. Okay, this is the size of my psychological wound, and this would be needed in order for this wound to heal. So now, what are my 4 go-tos for you? Engage in self-reflection. We all need to engage in self-reflection. It's extremely important. It's extremely important to journal your thoughts and your feelings every day almost, or at least 3 times a week. Journal them, write them down. What am I thinking? Why am I thinking? Why did I break down when the presentation didn't go well? Why did I break down over a fight in the family? Why did I break down when my friend said something which I perceived it to be extremely nasty? Why? You need to know. You need to know the whys. So self-reflection is very important. Mindful practices would lead to more reflection. Second would be obviously seeking therapy or counseling. Obviously, that's the obvious one. But practicing open and honest communication on your end. It's okay to say, I am angry, in that tone only. You don't need to barge in and out of the rooms in order to show your anger. You can communicate. You can say, I'm hurt, I'm very hurt. That's all right. So practicing honest and open communications and telling other people, this is what I need. It's okay to even tell your partners, I like flowers. You can give me, that's okay. It's okay to make your parents understand, क्या आजकल 20s में जो लड़कियां मेरे पास आती हैं, मुझे I don't want to get married because this. It's okay to even make a presentation about it and show it to your parents because of slide A, slide B, slide B, I don't want to get married right now. That's all right. But communication is the key. Your parents are not born with an innate ability to read your mind. No one in your family is. Your kids wouldn't be even having those abilities. Building trust through positive interaction. So Harvard की एक study हुई है जिसमें बड़ी I think 30 or 40 years long study थी, longitudinal study थी, and it was on men. And it showed that men's longevity depend on positive interaction with their partner and their kids. So for men, their family was very important. And men who had healthy relationships within the family were living longer, and they had better health markers. Now, when we come to women, there are so many studies that are showing that for women, interestingly, it's the interaction with other women that are making them live longer. Not the interaction and relationship with their husband. It's the relationship with other women that is affecting them the most. How interesting. So you need to invest in those female relationships. Maybe your sisters, or sisters from different mother. Maybe your mothers, mother-in-laws, I don't know, whoever is healthy around you, whoever you are able to build a healthy relationship with. But women's longevity is dependent on having relationship, positive relationship, good relationship with other women. So we need to invest in that female bonding. There's no doubt about it that as more and more women are coming in the field, it does not mean that they're not working back home. It just means they're working even more. They're extremely stressed out. Women are the caretakers. They have that nurturing ability, so they are the ones who are like stepping ahead and saying, okay, I'll take care of Amma, Abba, whoever is sick in the family, whoever is sick, of that child who's sick. Women will have that ability. They would wake up at 2 a.m. and check on the person who's sick, right? Hence, women also take care of elderly and children. They take on that responsibility. Studies have shown that women, apart from giving 40 hours per week or at the work, they are also working around like 17 to 18 hours at home, while men are doing half of that. They're working about 8 to 9 hours at home. And that's also the data for developed countries, where men are more willing to help at home. So the thing is that women are working more. So as more women come in the field, it does not mean that their responsibilities at home are coming any less. No, it just means that they're working more. So I have something for you. What I want is, you guys have papers in front of you. You might have pens if you want to use that, or you might want to use your phone. So open the Notes app in your phone, and I want you to write down, list down whatever stresses you are having. Whatever stresses you are having. कोई भी stress है. नहीं है तो बहुत अच्छी बात है. But if you have any stressor, I want you to list it down. I want you to write it down. थोड़ा सा engage करें, because we have like following activities as well. So I would really want you to think about whatever is stressing you out, write it down. And please give your, give other people some privacy. Don't look into their sheets, whatever they're writing. Just list the things. So done? Everyone's done? Yeah? Okay, good. All right. So now what I want you to do is, you can keep that pen and paper aside, and we will do a small exercise, like 3-minute exercise. I want you to take a deep breath in and close your eyes. And I want you to take these 2 minutes, as you close your eyes, I want you to take these 2 minutes to connect with yourself. Yeah, just close your eyes. That's okay. No one's looking at you. Don't worry about it. No one's judging you. No one's looking at you, and you guys, all of you look absolutely ravishing and beautiful. So just close your eyes and connect with yourself. Ask yourself, how am I feeling? Don't think, let the answer come to you. How am I feeling? Whatever the answer might be, it could be happy, excited, it could be sad, disappointed, stressed, that's all right. Whatever the answer is, accept it. And feel in which part of the body you are containing those feelings. Which part of the body? It could be head, it could be neck and shoulders, it could be your back, your stomach, your legs. I just want you to feel and observe, are you carrying those feelings in any one specific part of your body? Now ask those feelings, why are you here? What are you trying to tell me? What are you trying to teach me? And no matter whatever the answer is, I want you to let go of that. I want you to let go of all the feelings. I want you to allow your body to let go of all the feelings as you come into this present moment. I want you to bring your attention in your neck and shoulders. We relax them a little. And then in your back and your abdomen. And then in your legs, and relax your legs. Relax your back. Try to relax the muscles in your scalp and head as well. And let go of all the feelings. And come back in this present moment. Now take a deep breath in again. Let go. And you can open your eyes. These were literally like 2 minutes. And in these 2 minutes, were you able to connect with yourself? That's good. We need to do this every day. We need to befriend ourselves. Now I want you to place your hands over your heart and say some affirmations with me. Today, I will indulge in more self-love. Today, I will try to smile more. Today, I will try to forgive more. Today, I will try to forgive others and myself. Today, I will try to communicate my feelings. Today, I will acknowledge and accept my emotions and feelings. Today, I will give myself more room to exist and feel. Today, I will try myself to be more grateful. Today, I will try to find more funny moments. Today, I will find moments to build resilience. And now, I want you to write down things on your paper, on your notes app, the things that you're truly, truly grateful for. Be it your health, your family, your job, it can be anything, your, anyone. Whatever you're truly, truly grateful for. Maybe even for the perfect cup of coffee you had in the morning, you're truly, truly grateful for that. Write down the things that you're truly grateful for. I would like to say in the end that mental health is not a destination, but it is a process. And it's about actually how you drive and not where you end up. It's not about the destination. And thank you, Talent Accelerator, for giving me this opportunity. But I want to end this on few breathing exercises, just 2 minutes of breathing exercises. So can I have those breathing exercises, please? Breathing exercises are literally the first step when it comes to stress management. And even when you're dealing with overwhelming emotions, journaling and breathing exercises would be the two basic steps that you would need in order to become emotionally balanced. So let's take these 2 minutes to breathe.